Welcome back, dear dreamer. Tonight, we wander into the quiet heart of the Milky Way, a place where starlight drifts like gentle breath and ancient suns move with patient grace. Most stories of space are full of noise and danger, but the galaxy carries a different kind of strength. It lives through stillness. It glows through silence. It turns with a calm that has lasted for billions of years. As you listen, let each breath slow down and let your thoughts settle like soft dust floating through warm light. This is not a journey of speed or urgency. It is a walk through the most peaceful corners of our cosmic home, where everything moves at its own quiet pace. Settle in, get comfortable, and allow the galaxy to guide you through one restful moment at a time. If these calm journeys bring you peace, remember to subscribe and tap the like button. Now, let us begin. Our galaxy is a quiet swirl of stars, gas, dust, and history, and it moves through space with a slow confidence that feels almost like breathing. Every star in the Milky Way, including our sun, drifts through this vast spiral, following gentle gravitational pathways carved over billions of years. When astronomers study this motion, they often describe it like a cosmic river, where everything floats together, carried by a current older than memory. Even though the galaxy is enormous and filled with activity, the overall rhythm is soft and constant. Nothing rushes, nothing panics, everything glides. Thinking about this motion can feel calming, like imagining yourself drifting through a quiet night sky, carried by forces you don't need to control. The Milky Way teaches that even huge, complicated systems can move with grace, and that we too can find peace in steady, patient motion. Stars in the Milky Way are born in clouds of gas and dust that look peaceful from far away, even though inside them slow chemical reactions and soft gravitational pulls are shaping the future. These clouds are called nebulae, and they act like nurseries where starlight first begins. The process is unhurried. A single star can take millions of years to gather itself, growing from faint clumps of dust into a glowing sphere. There is something soothing about how patient this process is, as if the universe prefers taking its time. When you imagine these clouds, think of drifting fog glowing under moonlight, quietly forming tiny sparks that will one day light up planets and skies. Even our sun began this way, inside a calm cloud that eventually gave birth to the solar system. Remembering this can feel comforting, a reminder that even brilliant things start in quiet places where nothing feels rushed. Our galaxy carries a soft glow known as galactic light, made from billions of small contributions from distant stars. Many of these stars are too faint for the human eye to see individually, yet together they create a gentle band across the night sky. Ancient travelers used this band as a guide, and many cultures gave it names inspired by milk, rivers, or pathways for spirits. When you look up and imagine that glow, you're seeing the combined memory of countless suns. The light you see has traveled for thousands of years before reaching you. It's as if the galaxy sends a quiet message from the past, letting you feel connected to something timeless. This glow does not flicker or rush. It holds steady, offering a sense of calm that feels like a soft blanket laid across the night. Thinking about that light moving silently across space can make your mind slow down and settle. At the center of the Milky Way lies a supermassive black hole called Sagittarius A, a region of gravity so strong that even light cannot escape once it crosses a boundary. Despite its dramatic nature, the black hole itself is incredibly quiet. It does not roar or rage the way movies make it seem. Instead, it sits in calm stillness, pulling in gas and dust at a slow and steady pace. Most of the time, the region around it emits only soft radio waves that astronomers carefully measure. This center has been shaping our galaxy for billions of years, holding the spiral structure together through pure gravitational presence. Thinking of it this way makes it feel less like a threat and more like a silent anchor. It's a reminder that even something powerful can remain peaceful, guiding everything around it without noise or chaos. The Milky Way has arms that spiral gently outward, but these arms are not solid structures. They are waves made of stars moving in and out over time, a little like ripples on water. Each arm slowly rotates around the galactic center, carrying suns, planets, and clouds along pathways that change over millions of years. The idea that our entire solar system moves through these arms can feel strangely calming. Nothing is fixed. Everything drifts in a slow cycle. As our system travels, we pass through regions full of dust, then through clearer areas, then through richer star fields again. This long journey takes hundreds of millions of years, giving each region a peaceful, unhurried character. Imagining yourself riding along one of these spiral arms can feel like floating through a cosmic landscape, never rushing, always gliding at a pace set by gravity's gentle pull. Many of the stars we see in the night sky are older than human history, and some were shining long before Earth even existed. These ancient stars are scattered throughout the Milky Way, glowing with a steady light that has survived time, collisions, and cosmic storms. Their endurance gives the galaxy a quiet sense of wisdom. Astronomers study these stars to learn about the early universe, reading their light like pages from a very old book. Some contain chemical traces from the first generations of stars, which exploded and spread their elements into space. When you imagine these ancient suns, you might feel a sense of comfort in their long-lasting presence. They remind us that time is vast, and our lives are small but meaningful moments within a grand story. Their calm, steady glow encourages us to slow down and breathe a little deeper. Floating through the Milky Way is a mysterious substance called dark matter. We cannot see it or touch it, but we know it is there because its gravity holds the galaxy together. Without it, the Milky Way's spinning motion would tear everything apart. Dark matter acts like a gentle, invisible support system, keeping stars and planets in stable orbits. This unseen framework stretches well beyond the parts of the galaxy we can observe, creating a quiet halo enveloping us. Even though dark matter is unknown, its presence feels reassuring rather than frightening. It works silently, without force or noise, shaping the galaxy in ways that feel steady and reliable. Thinking about dark matter can bring a sense of acceptance about the unknown in life. Sometimes the things we don't fully understand still hold us up, guiding us through space without asking to be noticed. The Milky Way contains trillions of planets, many of which drift silently around stars far away from human knowledge. Some orbit in gentle, stable paths for billions of years. Others wander in darker regions, floating freely without a star at all. These worlds, known as rogue planets, move through space like quiet travelers with no destination. Imagining them drifting in cold, calm darkness can create a soothing picture. There is no noise, no pressure, and no urgency, just timeless wandering. Astronomers believe that many of these planets may carry frozen oceans, rocky landscapes, or thick layers of gas that form soft, muted colors. Even though we may never visit them, thinking of their peaceful orbits can be comforting. They remind us that the universe is full of quiet places where time moves slowly and life, if it exists at all, takes its time to unfold. Inside our galaxy, clouds of dust fill the spaces between stars, softening and scattering light in delicate patterns. These clouds are not harsh or heavy. They float lightly, shaped by gentle magnetic fields and slow drifting motions. When starlight passes through them, it becomes warmer and more muted, giving the Milky Way its soft golden glow. Dust might sound unremarkable, but it holds the building blocks of planets and even the ingredients that eventually form life. In a way, these clouds act like a blanket spread across the galaxy, filtering the light so that nothing feels too bright or overwhelming. Thinking of these dust clouds can create a sense of quiet comfort, as if the universe itself knows how to soften sharp edges. They drift through space in a calm, unhurried way, reminding us that beauty can come from even the smallest, quietest things. The Milky Way is surrounded by dozens of tiny companion galaxies, called dwarf galaxies. These small clusters of stars orbit our galaxy like gentle satellites, moving slowly around the edges. Their light is faint and soft, almost like a whisper compared to the Milky Way's bright band. Many of them are ancient, preserving early structures from the universe's youth. Over time, some stars from these dwarf galaxies drift into the Milky Way, becoming part of our larger home. This slow blending creates a peaceful sense of connectedness. Nothing in the universe stands alone. Everything gradually joins together, guided by gravity's patient pull. Thinking of these dwarf galaxies circling us can feel soothing, like having quiet companions traveling alongside you. They drift in calm darkness, unchanged for billions of years, reminding us that the universe values patience and slow, steady companionship. Star clusters are like neighborhoods in the Milky Way, places where stars live close together and share a common origin. Some clusters are young and bright, filled with hot blue stars that burn quickly. Others are old, containing cooler red stars that have been glowing gently for billions of years. When you imagine these clusters, you can picture them as small, peaceful communities drifting through space. They stay together because of their shared gravity, moving slowly as a group across the galaxy. There is something comforting about the idea of stars growing up together, aging together, and traveling side by side. Astronomers often compare them to families of stars, and in a way, that description fits. These clusters remind us that companionship exists even in vast, dark places. They offer a quiet reassurance that everything has a place, and every star belongs somewhere, no matter how large the universe becomes. The Milky Way is shaped like a disk, but it also has a soft, rounded bulge at the center made of older stars. This bulge glows with a warm, golden light that gives the galaxy a peaceful radiance. Most of the stars here are ancient and stable, shining with a calm steadiness formed over centuries of cosmic evolution. When astronomers observe this region, they see a population of stars that have survived collisions, mergers, and shifts in the galaxy's structure. Their endurance creates a sense of quiet wisdom. This central bulge acts as a gentle heart for the Milky Way, offering a warm glow that anchors the spiral arms. Thinking of this region can bring a sense of grounding, like imagining a candle burning steadily in a dark room. It reminds us that the core of our galaxy remains calm, even when everything else is in motion. The Milky Way formed from earlier collisions between smaller galaxies, yet the process was far calmer than the word collision suggests. Over billions of years, these galaxies drifted into each other, merging their stars and gas in slow-motion interactions. Nothing happened suddenly. Instead, the galaxies blended together, almost like clouds merging in the sky. Today's Milky Way carries traces of those older galaxies in the form of ancient stars and faint streams of debris. Imagining this history can be surprisingly soothing. It shows that change, even big change, can happen gently. Things can come together without violence or chaos. The galaxy we live in is the result of long, slow blending, shaped by gravity's soft pull. When you think about this process, it becomes easier to accept the slow, natural changes in life. Everything transforms over time, but it doesn't have to feel disruptive. Every star in the Milky Way produces its own wind, a gentle stream of particles flowing outward into space. While each star's wind is faint, the combined effect of billions of stars creates a soft cosmic breeze filling the galaxy. This breeze interacts with dust, magnetic fields, and gas clouds, shaping them in subtle ways. It's not a wind you can hear or feel, but imagining it brings a sense of peace. It's a reminder that even stars breathe in their own quiet rhythm. Our sun's solar wind forms a protective bubble around the solar system, shielding us from harsh cosmic radiation. Other stars create similar bubbles, each one a calm, protective space. Thinking of these winds drifting silently across the galaxy can be relaxing. They move gently, shaping the environment without force or noise, showing that influence doesn't always require intensity. Magnetic fields stretch throughout the Milky Way, threading through gas, dust, and stars like invisible lines. These fields help guide charged particles and shape the movement of interstellar clouds. Although we cannot see them, they add structure and harmony to the galaxy. They are subtle, delicate forces that work quietly in the background. Thinking of the galaxy wrapped in soft, magnetic currents can feel comforting, like imagining a gentle framework that keeps everything aligned. These fields do not push or pull with violence. Instead, they sway matter in smooth, graceful motions that take place over millions of years. Astronomers study them to understand how stars form and how gas flows through space. But for a sleepy mind, imagining these fields as soft, unseen threads helps create a sense of calm order in the universe. It reminds us that hidden forces often keep things balanced in our lives too. The Milky Way rotates, but the rotation is not like a spinning wheel. It is a gentle, gradual movement where everything takes its time. Our solar system takes about 230 million years to complete a single orbit around the galactic center. This slow journey is called the galactic year. Imagining this long cycle can help you feel small in a peaceful way. You realize that you are part of a quiet, steady path through space. Nothing about this motion is hurried. Stars glide along their orbits with patience, guided by gravity that never rushes. Thinking of this slow rotation can ease your mind, encouraging you to breathe at a calmer pace. It reminds you that you too can move slowly through your own life without forcing everything to happen at once. The galaxy's rhythm encourages patience and acceptance. The Milky Way contains many regions of ionized gas called H2 regions, where young stars emit gentle, ultraviolet radiation that softly energizes surrounding gas. These clouds glow with pastel colors when photographed, but in reality, the light spreads thinly across space, creating a quiet, diffused brightness. These glowing clouds are signs of renewal, where new stars are forming and warming their surroundings. The light travels across space for thousands of years, eventually reaching us as a calm, steady glow. Imagining these clouds drifting like soft lanterns can bring a feeling of warmth. They show that the galaxy is always creating new light, even in distant corners we may never see. There is a serenity in knowing that creation continues silently. It's a reminder that growth and renewal can happen gently, without announcement or urgency, just like these glowing regions shaping the galaxy. The Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy are slowly drifting toward each other, but the process is incredibly calm. The two galaxies will not meet for about 4 billion years. Even when they begin to interact, the stars inside them will mostly glide past one another without collisions. The event will be more like two clouds blending than two solid objects hitting. Thinking of this future meeting can feel strangely peaceful. It shows that even enormous cosmic changes can happen softly, with grace and patience. Eventually, the two galaxies will merge into a new, larger galaxy. But the transition will unfold over billions of years. Nothing about it is sudden or violent. This long, slow dance reminds us that life has room to unfold gently. Even when big changes come, they can happen in a way that feels quiet and manageable. Cosmic rays are tiny particles that travel through the galaxy at high speeds, but their journey across space is surprisingly calm. Most of them come from distant supernovae, drifting through magnetic fields and scattering in random directions. By the time they reach Earth, they are faint and harmless, easily absorbed by our atmosphere. Imagining billions of tiny particles drifting through space can create a peaceful mental image, like dust motes floating in a sunbeam. They move silently, guided by forces we barely notice. Cosmic rays carry information about distant stars and ancient events, acting like messengers that travel across the galaxy. Even though their journey is long and mysterious, the idea of them moving steadily through space can be soothing. It reminds us that everything in the universe is always in motion, yet most of that motion is quiet and gentle. The Milky Way's halo is a huge, faint sphere that surrounds the visible part of the galaxy. It contains ancient stars, dark matter, and wisps of gas drifting in peaceful isolation. This region is so quiet and sparse that a star can travel for millions of years without meeting anything. Imagining this vast, tranquil space can calm your mind. It is like the universe's quietest room, untouched and serene. The halo also acts as a protective boundary, helping stabilize the galaxy and maintaining its structure. The stars here shine softly, their light barely reaching the inner regions. They serve as reminders of earlier cosmic times, carrying the history of long-lost galaxies. Thinking of this halo can give you a sense of spaciousness, like having all the room you need to breathe, think, and simply exist. It shows that emptiness can also be peaceful. The Milky Way is filled with pulsars, which are rapidly rotating neutron stars left behind after supernova explosions. Despite their dramatic origins, pulsars emit calm, rhythmic beams of light that sweep across space like cosmic lighthouses. Each pulsar spins at a stable rate, creating a steady pattern that astronomers use to measure time and distance. This rhythmic behavior feels soothing, almost like the heartbeat of the galaxy. Some pulsars rotate multiple times per second, while others turn more slowly, but each one maintains its rhythm with incredible consistency. Imagining these soft, repeating pulses can help your mind settle, like listening to a steady, quiet clock in a peaceful room. Pulsars remind us that even after powerful events, stability can return. They show that the universe has its own rhythms, gentle and predictable, guiding things forward in a calm and steady way. Within the Milky Way, there are enormous regions called molecular clouds, some stretching for hundreds of light years. These clouds are cold, quiet, and mostly dark, but inside them, the seeds of stars slowly gather. Their shapes drift and change over millions of years, sculpted by soft gravitational pulls and distant starlight. When astronomers observe these clouds, they often describe them as peaceful landscapes floating in space. The gas inside them moves slowly, almost lazily, never rushing to collapse into stars. Even the birth of a new star begins with a long period of stillness. Thinking about these clouds can feel soothing, as if the universe has areas dedicated entirely to rest. They remind us that growth can begin in silence, without constant activity. These clouds float through the galaxy like quiet islands, teaching us that calm moments often prepare the way for something bright to emerge. Hidden deep within the galaxy are stellar streams, long rivers of stars slowly drifting across space. These streams were once small galaxies or star clusters that became gently stretched out by the Milky Way's gravity. Instead of being torn apart violently, they were pulled into smooth, graceful arcs that wrap around our galaxy like soft trails of light. Each stream moves with a rhythm set billions of years ago, and their stars travel together like old friends on a shared journey. When scientists map these streams, they see delicate patterns that reveal the Milky Way's past. Thinking of these long, peaceful trails of stars can bring a sense of gentle continuity. They drift slowly, unchanged for ages, reminding us that life can unfold in long, steady paths. Even after great changes, there can still be connection and flow, just like these stars carrying their history across the sky. The Milky Way has a soft, glowing bridge of stars connecting it to the nearby Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, a small companion slowly merging with us. This bridge formed over billions of years, as gravity nudged stars from one galaxy into the other. To the human eye, this process is invisible, but astronomers observing it feel as if they are watching a cosmic handshake. The stars in this bridge move patiently, drifting in quiet arcs that show how galaxies can blend gently instead of colliding harshly. Thinking of this bridge can feel comforting, like imagining two distant places slowly coming together through shared motion. It symbolizes connection, patience, and the idea that even separate worlds can eventually meet. The gentle transfer of stars across space reminds us that things don't always need to happen quickly to be meaningful. Sometimes the slowest movements carry the most beauty. The galaxy's thick disk is a region filled with older stars that move in slightly more tilted paths compared to the stars in the thin disk where our sun lives. These older stars travel calmly, following orbits influenced by events that happened billions of years ago. Their gentle motion creates a quiet layer above and below the main disk, giving the Milky Way a soft, cushion-like structure. Astronomers think this thick disk may have formed after early interactions with other galaxies, but the stars within it now move steadily and peacefully. Imagining this layer can bring a sense of calm. It feels like a blanket wrapped around the galaxy, holding memories of its early years. The stars glow softly, like lanterns that have been burning for a very long time. Thinking of them helps create a peaceful feeling, as if the galaxy has settled into a slower, stable rhythm after long ages of change. The galaxy contains billions of brown dwarfs, often called failed stars. Though the term doesn't capture their quiet beauty, brown dwarfs are objects too small to shine brightly like stars, but too large to be planets. They glow with a soft, warm light that is barely noticeable from far away. These objects drift calmly through space, many of them alone, carrying gentle heat at their cores. Because brown dwarfs are faint, we don't see them with our eyes, but they fill the galaxy like quiet sparks hidden in the dark. Imagining them can bring a sense of calm, like picturing embers glowing softly under a blanket of ashes. They remind us that not everything needs to be bright to play a role. Even faint, humble objects contribute to the balance of the universe. Their steady presence shows that quiet forms of existence can still hold warmth and meaning. In many parts of the Milky Way, stars orbit together as binary or multiple systems. Instead of a single star standing alone, two or more stars revolve around each other in gentle, predictable loops. These orbits can last for millions or even billions of years, creating a calm, celestial dance. Some stars move close together, while others circle at great distances, but the balance between them stays stable. Imagining these star pairs can feel soothing, like watching two lanterns moving in steady circles. They move according to gravity's soft instructions, never rushing, never colliding. Astronomers study these systems to learn about stellar evolution, but there is also something poetic about them. They show that companionship is common in the universe, that stars often choose to move through life together. Thinking about their graceful orbits can quiet your mind, reminding you that harmony often comes from balance and gentle motion. The Milky Way slowly enriches its own gas with heavier elements produced inside stars. When stars age and release their material back into space, they gently add tiny amounts of oxygen, carbon, and other elements to the galaxy. Over billions of years, this slow recycling has created the rich mixture of materials that form planets and eventually life. The process is incredibly patient. Elements drift through space in soft clouds, gradually blending with interstellar gas. Thinking of this cycle can bring a peaceful sense of renewal. Nothing is wasted. Everything returns to the galaxy, ready for new stars and new worlds. This quiet recycling reminds us that change is constant but gentle, and that endings often lead to beginnings. The Milky Way has been following this calm rhythm since its earliest days, creating a stable balance that allows light, warmth, and life to emerge. Some stars in the Milky Way wander far from their birthplaces, kicked into higher orbits by subtle gravitational interactions. These runaway stars sound dramatic, but their journeys are slow and steady. They drift across the galaxy at peaceful speeds compared to the vast distances involved. Over millions of years, they trace long paths that astronomers can map like trails across a cosmic desert. Imagining these solitary travelers can feel soothing. They are not lost or rushing. They simply move along a new route shaped by gentle nudges from their surroundings. Their light continues to shine steadily, even as they travel through quieter regions of the galaxy. These wanderers remind us that sometimes life takes us in unexpected directions, yet we can still move forward calmly. Their presence shows that change does not need to be chaotic. It can simply be a new path unfolding slowly. The Milky Way contains many bubbles carved out by old supernova explosions. These bubbles are large, empty regions where shock waves once passed, but they have since settled into calm, clear spaces. The Sun currently sits inside one called the local bubble, a region of warm, low-density gas that stretches for hundreds of light years. Despite its explosive origin, the bubble now feels like a peaceful, open corridor in the galaxy. Imagining it is like picturing a quiet valley formed long after a storm. The turbulence is gone, replaced by stillness. The edges of the bubble glow faintly with dust and energized gas, but the interior remains tranquil. Thinking of the solar system drifting through this soft, open space can bring a sense of comfort. It reminds us that even after powerful events, calmness returns. The universe always settles back into a gentler state. The cosmic background radiation that fills the entire universe also passes through the Milky Way, wrapping everything in a faint, uniform glow. This radiation is the leftover heat from the early universe, stretched into gentle microwaves over billions of years. It is cold, quiet and steady, like the universe's oldest whisper. Although we cannot see or feel it, this glow surrounds us constantly, giving the galaxy a soft backdrop. When astronomers study it, they see tiny variations that reveal the earliest structures of the cosmos. Thinking of this ancient light can make you feel grounded in the larger story of the universe. It's like being held within a calm, low hum that has existed since the beginning of time. This background glow reminds us that we are part of something vast and ancient, yet peaceful and steady, moving through its own slow and patient evolution. Gamma-ray bursts sometimes pass through the Milky Way, but by the time their faint echoes reach us, they are gentle signals studied by astronomers. Their origins are far outside our galaxy, yet their whispers help scientists understand the life cycles of stars and the structure of the universe. These ghost-like bursts are not harmful to us. They are simply quiet messages from distant places. Imagining these soft pulses passing through the galaxy can be calming. They drift like quiet ripples on an ocean, carrying stories of ancient cosmic events. Instead of creating fear, they add depth to the picture of the Milky Way as a place filled with quiet information, always communicating in subtle ways. These faint signals remind us that the universe is full of conversations we can barely hear, yet they unfold constantly in the background, steady and serene. The galaxy's rotation curve, which shows how fast stars orbit at different distances from the center, remains surprisingly flat. This means stars far from the center move almost as quickly as those closer in. Instead of losing speed like a spinning wheel, the galaxy keeps a stable motion. This stability is one of the main clues that dark matter surrounds the Milky Way, creating a smooth gravitational field. Thinking about this steady rotation can be calming. It shows that even something as large as a galaxy maintains balance across immense distances. The orbit of each star contributes to the overall harmony, like notes in a quiet song. Astronomers study this curve to understand the hidden structure of the universe, but for a sleepy mind, the most soothing part is the idea of everything moving in peaceful coordination. The galaxy spins without wobble or hurry, year after year. The Milky Way has a quiet outer disk that extends far beyond what our eyes can see. This region contains faint stars and thin gas, spread so delicately that it forms a soft edge instead of a sharp boundary. The outer disk moves slowly, tracing wide, gentle orbits around the galactic center. It feels like the calm outskirts of a vast city, where everything is quieter and more spacious. Astronomers use sensitive instruments to study this region, discovering that the disk continues much farther than earlier scientists believed. Imagining this soft outer layer can bring a sense of peace. It feels like a reminder that even when we think something ends, it often extends beyond our immediate view. The outer disk holds stars that live quiet, lonely lives, shining gently at the galaxy's edge. Their presence adds a calm, expansive feeling to the Milky Way. The galaxy's bar, a long structure made of stars near the center, rotates slowly and steadily, guiding gas toward the inner regions. This bar acts like a calm conveyor, helping fuel new star formation over long periods. It does not rush or force anything. Instead, it nudges material in smooth, patient motions. When astronomers observe the bar, they see stars moving in graceful orbits shaped by the balanced pull of gravity. Imagining this structure can bring a sense of order. It feels like the galaxy has an inner guide that keeps everything flowing. The bar's gentle rotation influences the shape of the spiral arms, helping maintain the Milky Way's elegant structure. Thinking of it can make you feel centered, like imagining a quiet core holding everything together. It shows that even huge systems rely on steady, reliable movement. The Milky Way is home to giant stars known as red supergiants, which glow with warm, deep light. These stars have expanded to enormous sizes and shine with a soft, steady brightness that feels almost like a warm fireplace in the night sky. Although they look dramatic in pictures, their actual presence in space is calm. They release gentle winds and drift through their final stages of life at an unhurried pace. Imagining these huge glowing stars can feel soothing. Their light is steady rather than harsh, and their large surfaces make them appear like slow-breathing giants. Astronomers study them to understand how stars evolve, but for a relaxing moment, you can picture them as peaceful beacons in the vast dark. Their warm glow brings comfort, reminding us that even the biggest stars can have a soft presence. The galaxy contains mysterious objects called magnetars, which are neutron stars with strong magnetic fields. Despite their intense physics, magnetars spend most of their lives in stillness. They rotate slowly, emitting faint X-ray light that drifts through space like a soft whisper. Only on rare occasions do they release brief bursts of energy, but the rest of the time, they remain quiet, steady, and patient. Imagining these dense stars resting in silent corners of the galaxy can create a sense of calm. They feel like sleeping giants, holding their power deep inside without disturbing their surroundings. Astronomers observe them with sensitive instruments, fascinated by their unusual nature. Yet the soothing part lies in their long stretches of silence. Magnetars remind us that strength and stillness can exist together, and that even the most powerful forces can remain gentle. Nebulae shaped by old dying stars fill the galaxy with delicate patterns of gas. These planetary nebulae are not actually planets. They are soft shells of material gently pushed outward as a star ends its life. Once the outer layers drift away, they float in space like colorful glowing petals. The expansion is slow and peaceful, taking tens of thousands of years to unfold. Eventually, the nebula fades, leaving behind a quiet white dwarf at the center. Imagining this process can bring a sense of calm. It shows that endings in the universe are often gentle, filled with patterns instead of destruction. The glowing shapes drift outward with grace, carrying the memory of the star that created them. These nebulae remind us that beauty can arise during transitions and that change can be soft rather than abrupt. Many regions of the Milky Way contain cold hydrogen gas, the simplest and most abundant element in the universe. These clouds form the quiet backdrop of the galaxy, drifting in large sheets and filaments. They are so cold that their atoms move slowly, creating a sense of deep stillness. Astronomers detect them using radio waves, uncovering delicate patterns that stretch across space like faint brushstrokes. Thinking of this cold gas clouds can feel soothing, as if the galaxy has rooms filled with silence. These regions provide the raw material for new stars, yet they take their time before collapsing into brighter forms. Their calm nature shows that potential can rest quietly for long periods before it awakens. Imagining this cold, drifting clouds can help your mind settle, reminding you that stillness often holds the seeds of future light. The Milky Way is surrounded by a quiet, thin fog of ionized gas called the circumgalactic medium. This gas stretches far beyond the visible parts of the galaxy, forming a gentle atmosphere that helps regulate the flow of material in and out. It moves slowly, shaped by gravity, stellar winds, and the occasional influence of supernovae. Although it sounds grand, this vast halo behaves with soft subtlety, drifting in calm layers that shift over millions of years. Thinking of this quiet envelope can bring a sense of protection, like imagining a soft glow surrounding the galaxy. It holds the history of ancient interactions and carries the ingredients for future stars. This gentle structure reminds us that even the largest systems have boundaries that keep things balanced. Deep inside the galaxy are quiet pockets of star formation, known as stellar nurseries. These regions are cradled within larger clouds and glow faintly with newborn starlight. The process of starbirth is slow and gentle. Gas gathers, dust cools, and gravity slowly pulls everything inward. Over millions of years, tiny sparks of light appear, each one growing into a star that will shine for billions more. When astronomers observe these nurseries, they often describe them as peaceful cocoons. Nothing sudden happens here. It is patient work, guided by the soft balance of temperature and gravity. Imagining these nurseries can create a restful feeling. They show that beginnings can be quiet, formed in places where silence and time work together. These regions remind us that life often starts in stillness, where gentle forces shape something bright and lasting without rush or noise. The galaxy contains enormous stellar rings made from gas, dust, and stars arranged in broad, circular patterns. These rings often form after gentle interactions with smaller galaxies, creating smooth waves that ripple outward for millions of years. Instead of being chaotic, these rings settle into balanced structures, moving with slow, rhythmic motion. Astronomers study them to learn about the Milky Way's past, but there is also something calming about imagining a ring of stars drifting in perfect harmony. The motion is predictable, guided by gravity's soft touch. These rings act like cosmic ripples frozen in time, creating elegant shapes across vast distances. Thinking of them can bring a sense of gentle order and balance. They remind us that even after moments of disturbance, the galaxy settles into symmetry. The rings glide quietly around the center, showing that the universe naturally seeks calm patterns. Within the Milky Way float tiny grains of interstellar dust, each one smaller than a speck of smoke. Yet these grains shape the galaxy's soft glow by scattering and filtering starlight. They drift in slow currents, guided by magnetic fields and gentle winds from stars. Their motion is nearly silent, taking millions of years to cross even short distances. Thinking of these grains brings a sense of subtle beauty. They are the smallest pieces of the galaxy, but they help create its atmosphere. When light passes through them, it becomes warmer and more muted, giving the Milky Way its calm, golden tone. These grains also hold the building blocks of planets and life, carrying carbon and other elements across space. Imagining them floating through the galaxy can ease your mind. They show that tiny things matter, and even the smallest particles can shape something vast and beautiful. Across the Milky Way, old stars shed their outer layers in gentle flows that create glowing shells of gas. These shells expand slowly, forming shapes that look like delicate halos. Each one is different. Some appear round, others stretch into soft elliptical forms. Over time, these shells fade into the darkness, returning their material to the galaxy. This quiet process helps enrich the Milky Way, giving future stars the ingredients they need. Imagining these expanding halos can create a sense of peace. They drift outward at calm, steady speeds, never rushing or forcing their way. Their glow is subtle, shaped by the last light of the star inside. This final breath of a star's life is serene rather than violent. It is a gentle letting go, a reminder that endings can be soft and dignified, marking the completion of a long journey with calm beauty. The Milky Way contains massive clouds of neutral hydrogen that form long, swirling structures stretching across thousands of light years. These clouds are faint and cold, moving at slow, graceful speeds. Astronomers map them with radio waves, revealing patterns that resemble soft brushstrokes across the galaxy. These clouds help guide star formation, but they take their time, drifting for millions of years before changing shape. Imagining these enormous, quiet structures can bring a sense of spaciousness. They fill the galaxy with calm, flowing currents of gas that behave almost like ocean tides. Their motion is never hurried. Instead, they move according to gentle gravitational balances, forming the smooth backdrop against which brighter stars and nebulae shine. Thinking about these hydrogen clouds helps your mind settle into a slower pace, reminding you that even large-scale change can happen softly and gradually without disturbance. The Milky Way hosts a special population of stars called horizontal branch stars, which shine with a steadiness that reflects their advanced stage of life. These stars burn helium in their cores, producing a calm, consistent glow. Scattered across the galaxy in clusters and fields, they create patterns that astronomers study to understand stellar evolution. But beyond their scientific importance, there is something soothing about their stable light. They have moved past the turbulence of earlier stages and now shine with a mature, quiet confidence. Imagining these stars can bring a sense of calm. They represent stability after long periods of change, showing that things can settle into a peaceful rhythm over time. Their gentle glow adds to the Milky Way's serene character. They are reminders that endurance leads to steadiness, and that every stage of life has its own form of balance. The Milky Way's halo contains ancient star clusters called globular clusters that orbit far from the galactic center. These clusters are tightly packed, containing hundreds of thousands of stars that have been shining for more than 10 billion years. Even though they formed in the early universe, they remain calm, stable spheres drifting around the galaxy. Imagining them feels like picturing floating lanterns from a distant past. Their stars shine steadily, their orbits unhurried. They are some of the oldest structures still intact, carrying the memories of the galaxy's youth. When astronomers study them, they see history written in light. Thinking of these serene clusters can help you feel grounded. They show that some things last a very long time, maintaining their shape and harmony. These clusters move in graceful loops around the Milky Way, adding a quiet feeling of age and continuity to our cosmic home. The Milky Way interacts gently with streams of intergalactic gas that drift inward along gravity's pull. When this gas reaches the galaxy, it settles slowly into the outer regions, adding fresh material for new stars. The process is quiet and gradual, unfolding over billions of years. Imagining this slow inflow is calming. It feels like the galaxy is breathing, taking in small amounts of new material with each cosmic inhale. This steady flow helps sustain star formation and keeps the galaxy evolving at a gentle pace. Astronomers study these inflows to understand how galaxies grow, but the soothing part is the rhythm. Nothing is rushed. Everything arrives in its own time, blending softly with the Milky Way's existing gas. Thinking of this process can remind you that growth often happens slowly, through small additions that build up over long periods. Inside the galaxy, countless white dwarfs drift in quiet orbits. These are the remnants of stars that once shone brightly, but now glow with steady, fading light. They are small, dense, and peaceful, radiating their stored heat over billions of years. Unlike their explosive beginnings, white dwarfs spend their long twilight in stillness. Their soft glow adds a delicate shimmer to the galaxy. Imagining them feels like picturing tiny embers scattered across a vast cosmic field. They are reminders of endurance and patience, showing that even after dramatic events, calmness follows. Astronomers study their light to learn about the past, but the emotional comfort comes from their stability. They shine quietly, without change or rush. Thinking of these faint, ancient stars drifting gently through space can bring your mind into a slow, restful rhythm. The Milky Way's spiral arms contain regions of bright blue stars, but between these areas lie wide stretches of calmer space, filled with older stars and gentle fields of dust. These quieter regions give the galaxy its balanced appearance, creating pockets of peaceful light between brighter zones. Imagining these calm corridors feels like walking through a quiet path between glowing hills. Here, starlight is softer, and everything moves with a slower rhythm. Astronomers think these spaces help regulate the flow of material through the galaxy, allowing star formation to unfold gradually instead of all at once. The balance between bright and calm areas gives the Milky Way its soothing structure. When you picture these stretches of older starlight and dust, you may feel your breathing slow. They represent moments of rest between bursts of activity, showing that even the galaxy values quiet pauses. The Milky Way contains faint, high-altitude gas clouds floating above the galactic disk. These clouds drift like soft mist, shaped by magnetic fields and gentle star winds. They move slowly and remain stable for long stretches of time. Astronomers detect them using sensitive telescopes, discovering their delicate forms as they hover above the busier regions below. Thinking of these clouds can create a sense of lightness. They resemble peaceful layers suspended in the sky, untouched by the galaxy's fast-moving activity. These quiet gas sheets play a subtle role in shaping the Milky Way's overall balance. Imagining them feels like picturing thin, glowing veils floating in a silent night. They remind us that stillness can exist even when everything below is energetic. These clouds drift patiently, teaching us that gentle detachment can bring clarity and calm. The galaxy's outer halo contains small star groups called moving groups, where stars share similar motions as they travel through space. These stars drift together like a flock, maintaining their paths for billions of years. Their cohesion comes from their shared origin, yet each star glows with its own soft light. Imagining these groups can feel soothing, like watching a slow migration across the night sky. They do not rush or collide. Instead, they flow together, guided by gravity and ancient momentum. Astronomers study these groups to understand how stars disperse from their birthplaces, but emotionally, they reveal something peaceful. They show that companionship exists even across great distances, and that shared journeys can unfold quietly. These moving groups add a sense of harmony to the galaxy, their steady motion reminding us of the comfort found in traveling beside others. The Milky Way contains rare but beautiful carbon stars, which shine with deep, warm hues created by carbon-rich layers in their atmospheres. These stars glow like reddish lanterns, casting a soft, comforting light that stands out from the cooler tones around them. Their unique chemistry gives them an almost gentle personality. Carbon stars form in later stages of stellar life, when material produced deep inside rises to the surface. This process unfolds slowly and peacefully, enriching the surrounding space with carbon that will eventually help form planets and life. Imagining these warm, glowing stars can bring a sense of inner warmth. They feel like little hearths scattered across the galaxy, each one radiating calm energy. Astronomers admire their beauty, but for a sleepy mind, the comfort lies in their soft glow. They show that even aging stars can shine with gentle elegance. Faint streams of dust called infrared cirrus fill the galaxy with delicate, thread-like patterns visible only at specific wavelengths. These wisps drift across the Milky Way like soft smoke, illuminated gently by the combined glow of millions of distant stars. Their motion is slow, shaped by quiet magnetic fields and subtle stellar winds. Imagining these threads of dust can create a sense of peaceful movement. They weave through the galaxy without urgency, forming patterns that look almost like brushstrokes across a deep canvas. Astronomers study them to understand the structure of interstellar dust, but the emotional comfort comes from their quiet presence. They remind us that beauty often hides in faint details, and that not everything in the universe shines brightly. These soft cirrus clouds help create the Milky Way's dreamy, muted texture. The galaxy is filled with slow-moving shock fronts, gentle waves created by old stellar winds or long-past supernova. Unlike dramatic explosions, these shock fronts have settled into soft, expanding curves that move at calm speeds. They gradually shape the gas around them, smoothing and refining it over long periods. Imagining these waves can be soothing, like watching ripples spread across a quiet lake. Their motion is steady and unforced, driven by energy that has mellowed over millions of years. Astronomers observe them to learn about the galaxy's history, but the peaceful imagery they create can help settle your thoughts. These slow waves remind us that even powerful events calm down with time, becoming gentle influences rather than disruptive forces. They show that the universe naturally moves toward balance. Some distant regions of the Milky Way contain extended ultraviolet disks, where soft ultraviolet light reveals faint patterns of young stars forming in calm outer reaches. These areas are exceptionally quiet, far from the denser regions closer to the galactic center. The young stars here are sparse, but their light shines with a delicate freshness. Imagining these remote star fields feels like picturing a serene meadow at the edge of a great forest. Here, everything is slower and more spacious. Astronomers study these regions to understand how star formation happens in peaceful environments, but anyone can find comfort in the thought. These stars glow gently, untouched by the busier parts of the galaxy. Their quiet beauty shows that creation can happen anywhere, even in the soft margins of space. The Milky Way contains ancient debris from long-ago galactic interactions, streams of stars, thin arcs of gas, and faint traces of old collisions. Instead of being violent, these remnants now drift calmly, shaped into smooth patterns by gravity. They act like memories written in the galaxy's outskirts, slowly fading but still present. Imagining these peaceful remnants can feel grounding. They show that the past settles over time, becoming part of a larger whole. Nothing remains turbulent forever. These structures drift in serene orbits, contributing to the galaxy's shape without drawing attention. Astronomers read them like chapters of a cosmic history book, but for relaxation, the idea of these quiet traces offers comfort. They remind us that even disruptive events can soften and become gentle elements of the background. The Milky Way includes wide, low-density voids where very few stars exist. These regions are like quiet deserts in space, filled mostly with dark matter and thin gas. They stretch for hundreds of light years, offering vast areas of stillness. Imagining these empty zones can help your mind feel spacious and calm. It's like stepping into a place with endless room to breathe. The voids are not frightening but peaceful, untouched by the busier processes happening elsewhere in the galaxy. Astronomers study them to understand how stars and gas distribute themselves, but emotionally, These areas feel like the galaxy's natural pauses. They remind us that emptiness is not always lonely. It can be restful, quiet, and full of potential. These voids give the Milky Way balance, allowing busy regions to coexist with places of profound calm. Far out in the galaxy's outer disk, the stars move in gentle, wide loops. These paths are so large that it takes them hundreds of millions of years to complete a single orbit. The vastness of these motions makes everything feel slower and quieter. There is no rush in these distant regions, only calm drifting. These stars shine faintly but steadily, their light hardly disturbed by nearby activity. When astronomers observe them, they see patterns of stability that have lasted since the galaxy formed. Imagining these distant orbits can bring a feeling of peaceful scale. The universe does not hurry, and neither do these stars. They remind us that life can move at many different speeds, and that the slowest pace often carries the most serenity. Out here, the galaxy feels open, gentle, and steady, like a calm wind moving through wide, empty spaces. The Milky Way contains bright pockets of star formation that glow in soft red light. These regions, rich with hydrogen, emit a warm, diffuse brightness created by newborn stars, energizing the gas around them. When you picture these glowing clouds, imagine a gentle red lantern floating in the vast darkness. The light is not harsh or intense. It spreads softly, blending into the surrounding dust. These warm patches appear like quiet beacons across the spiral arms, each one a sign of new beginnings unfolding in peace. Astronomers study these regions to understand how stars are born, but beyond the science lies a calming truth. Creation in the galaxy often appears as warm, gentle light instead of loud or sudden bursts. These glowing clouds remind us that new chapters in life can begin with softness, warmth, and steady illumination, rather than noise or urgency. Some stars in the Milky Way flicker ever so slightly due to small waves on their surfaces, but these changes are gentle and rhythmic. Known as variable stars, they brighten and dim with predictable cycles. These cycles can last days, months, or years, creating soft patterns like breathing in the night sky. Astronomers use them to measure distances across space, but the sensation of imagining their rhythm is what brings comfort. They pulse slowly, never rushing, never surprising. Their steady behavior is like a calm heartbeat, echoing throughout the galaxy. Thinking of these stars can help ease your mind into a slower pace. They show that even light can move in cycles, flowing gently from high to low and back again. The universe seems to breathe through them, offering a reminder that calm repetition can be grounding and peaceful. Giant molecular filaments stretch across the Milky Way like long, delicate threads of gas. These filaments can span hundreds of light years, yet they are astonishingly thin compared to their length. They drift quietly through the galaxy, shaped by gravity and magnetic fields acting together in slow harmony. When astronomers map them, they look like soft, glowing strands woven into the structure of the spiral arms. Imagining these filaments can bring a sense of gentle order, as if the galaxy is stitched together by invisible hands. Their formation takes millions of years, and their movement is unhurried. They serve as quiet highways where new stars eventually form, but most of the time, they simply drift in silence. Thinking of these long, slender threads can help your mind unwind, allowing you to picture the galaxy as a tapestry woven with patience and care. The Milky Way contains soft, echoing waves called density waves that shape the spiral arms. These waves are not physical objects, but gentle compressions that move slowly through the disk, creating patterns where stars cluster. Their motion is almost like a ripple sliding across a pond, except it unfolds over millions of years. These waves help maintain the spiral structure, giving the galaxy its graceful arms. Imagining them can feel soothing, as if the entire galaxy is breathing in long, slow intervals. The stars respond to these waves with gentle shifts, aligning themselves into beautiful curves. Nothing about the process feels chaotic. It is a slow, steady rhythm that repeats throughout the galaxy's lifetime. Thinking of these calm waves can bring your mind into a relaxed state, reminding you that even enormous systems rely on subtle, patient processes. Deep in the galactic halo, faint, ancient hypervelocity stars travel on long, steady journeys. Although their speeds sound intense, the distances they cover are so vast that their motion feels slow and silent when imagined on a cosmic scale. These stars were gently nudged long ago by gravitational interactions, sending them on wide arcs that may lead them out of the galaxy. Their paths stretch across quiet regions where almost nothing else exists. Imagining these lone travelers can bring a sense of solitary peace. They move steadily, shining softly as they drift through cold, spacious darkness. There is no urgency to their journey. It is simply the path set for them by old cosmic events. These stars remind us that even when life sends us far from where we began, the journey can still be calm, steady, and filled with quiet beauty. The Milky Way's disk contains pockets of warm, ionized gas that flow smoothly through interstellar space. These pockets create a soft background glow when observed with sensitive instruments. The gas moves gently, spreading out in thin layers that shift slowly under the influence of magnetic fields and distant starlight. Thinking about these warm regions can bring a sense of steady comfort. The glow they produce is not bright or overwhelming, but a faint, soothing presence. Scientists study this warm gas to understand how the interstellar medium evolves, but for relaxation, the comforting image is its steadiness. It fills the galaxy like a quiet warmth, balanced between cooler gas and brighter stars. Imagining this subtle glow wrapping the Milky Way can help your mind settle, as if the galaxy itself holds a gentle internal warmth that radiates calmness into space. The galaxy contains drifting shells from old supernova remnants that have softened over time. These once energetic structures now expand with slow, graceful motion, losing their intensity as they blend into the interstellar medium. Their edges glow faintly, shaped by dust and ionized gas. Imagining them feels like watching the last ripples of a wave fade into a calm sea. Although they began as powerful events, their long-term presence is quiet and gentle. Astronomers observe them to trace the history of stellar life cycles, but there is something deeply calming about picturing them in their current state. They float like soft halos, gradually dispersing until they become part of the galaxy's ambient glow. These structures show that even after intense moments, the universe ultimately returns to peace. Their slow fading teaches us that time softens everything, restoring balance with patience and grace. The Milky Way contains cold, dense clumps within larger clouds, tiny pockets where gas settles into perfect stillness. These clumps are the quietest parts of the interstellar medium, with temperatures so low that atoms barely move. They serve as seeds for future stars, but for long periods they remain untouched, drifting without disturbance. Imagining these frozen pockets can bring a deep sense of stillness. They exist in a state of near-perfect calm, waiting for just the right conditions to awaken. Astronomers study them to understand how stars begin, but emotionally, they represent moments of rest before new beginnings. These clumps show that potential can lie dormant in peaceful silence, gathering strength slowly. Thinking of them can help you feel grounded, reminding you that the quietest moments often prepare the way for transformation. High above the galactic disk, streams of cool gas rain gently back down toward the Milky Way after rising from earlier star formation events. This circulation is part of a calm galactic fountain that moves material in soft cycles. The gas ascends, cools in the halo, and slowly returns like a mist drifting downward. Imagining this gentle motion is soothing. It resembles rainfall, but on a cosmic scale, unfolding over millions of years. This slow recycling helps keep the galaxy balanced, providing fresh material for new stars. Nothing about this process is violent or rushed. It is a patient cycle of rising and falling, guided by gravity and temperature changes. Thinking about this cosmic fountain can settle your mind, offering a picture of perpetual calm motion that keeps the galaxy refreshed and stable. The Milky Way's magnetic field sometimes creates soft, swirling motions in the gas, forming gentle vortices. These swirling patterns are not violent storms, but slow, quiet rotations that take shape over long periods. They help redistribute energy and material through the interstellar medium with subtle influence. Imagining these calm eddies can feel relaxing, like watching slow whirlpools in a clear lake. Astronomers detect them through delicate changes in gas temperature and movement, but the overall picture is one of quiet order. These vortices show that even in complex systems, motion can be graceful and controlled. They remind us that swirling energy does not always mean chaos. Sometimes it means balance. Thinking about these cosmic spirals can help your thoughts settle into smoother patterns. Some regions of the Milky Way contain faint reflection nebulae, clouds that shine by reflecting the light of nearby stars. Their glow is soft and pale, often appearing blue, because the dust scatters shorter wavelengths more easily. These nebulae do not generate their own light, but gently borrow it, turning starlight into a dreamy haze. Imagining these wispy reflections can feel soothing, like moonlight glowing through mist. They drift slowly, shaped by quiet winds and subtle movements in the surrounding gas. Astronomers photograph them to capture their delicate beauty, but emotionally, they offer a sense of gentle illumination. They remind us that even reflected light can be comforting, and that brightness doesn't always need to come from within. Sometimes, it is enough to reflect what is already there, softly and without intensity. The Milky Way contains pockets of cosmic dust that absorb starlight and slowly release it as faint infrared warmth. These tiny grains act like gentle radiators, giving off soft heat across the galaxy. Their warmth is not something we can feel, but imagining it brings a sense of quiet comfort. It's like picturing small embers glowing throughout the darkness. This process helps balance the temperature of interstellar space, creating environments where gas can cool and stars can form. Astronomers study this infrared glow to map hidden structures, but for a calming thought, imagine these tiny particles warming the galaxy with subtle, steady energy. They remind us that warmth often comes from the smallest sources, and that even in the cold vacuum of space, gentle heat can flow quietly. Far from the sun, in the galaxy's quieter regions, lie stars that have barely interacted with anything since they formed. These isolated stars shine with a calm, unchanged glow. They live in peaceful solitude, undisturbed by dense clouds, nearby clusters, or strong gravitational influences. Imagining these quiet stars can feel comforting. Their isolation is not lonely, but serene, like living in a wide open field under a clear sky. They represent simplicity, consistency and the beauty of calm existence. Astronomers study them to understand how stars evolve without outside influence, but for a sleepy mind, their stillness offers rest. These stars remind us that life does not always need noise or excitement to be meaningful. They shine quietly, steady, and self-contained in the vast silence of space. The Milky Way contains extended dust lanes that weave through the spiral arms like soft shadows. These lanes gently darken starlight, creating beautiful contrast that gives the galaxy its textured appearance. The dust inside them is cool and calm, drifting slowly through interstellar space. Imagining these lanes can feel grounding. They are like shaded paths in a bright forest, offering rest from the surrounding glow. Astronomers map these lanes to understand star formation, but there is something soothing about picturing them as quiet, protective spaces. They show that even in the brightest regions, gentle shadows play an important role. These lanes soften the galaxy's light, giving it depth and balance. Thinking about them can calm your mind, reminding you that shadows can bring comfort, offering places where light and darkness blend peacefully. The galaxy contains countless dormant black holes formed from collapsed stars long ago. These quiet black holes drift through space without actively feeding on gas or shining with energetic light. They are completely silent, interacting with their surroundings only through gravity. Imagining them can bring a sense of deep stillness. They are like dark, motionless stones resting in a vast cosmic river. Astronomers detect them only through subtle gravitational effects, but emotionally, their presence feels calming rather than threatening. These dormant black holes remind us that not all power is loud or dramatic. Some of the strongest forces in the universe remain quiet. Their stillness is steady and unchanging, teaching us that silence can hold immense strength. They drift peacefully through the galaxy, unseen yet stable, adding a sense of profound calm to the Milky Way. Some stars in the galaxy orbit in gentle vertical oscillations, moving slowly above and below the galactic plane. This motion looks like a soft wave when charted over long periods. The stars rise gradually, reach a quiet peak, and drift back down again in slow, smooth cycles. Imagining these vertical oscillations feels soothing, like watching a slow tide. The movement is guided by gravity and unfolds over millions of years. Astronomers study these motions to understand the galaxy's mass distribution, but for a calming mental picture, imagine stars gently bobbing in a cosmic sea. They show that even in a structured system, natural waves form and fade with steady rhythm. These vertical motions add a layer of peaceful complexity to the Milky Way, reminding us that everything, even stars, sways gently in time. Some parts of the galaxy contain incredibly thin tendrils of ionized gas that stretch across large distances. These tendrils glow faintly, like soft scratches of light drawn through the darkness. Their shapes change slowly, drifting in patterns shaped by magnetic fields and the pressure of surrounding clouds. Imagining these delicate structures can quiet your thoughts. They behave with such subtlety that even astronomers must use sensitive instruments to detect them. Their faint presence adds texture to the galaxy without creating disturbance. These thin strands show that the Milky Way is full of tiny, intricate details that unfold at calm speeds. Thinking of them feels like watching fine threads dance in a gentle breeze, offering a sense of lightness and calm. They remind us that even the most delicate things can endure across cosmic time. High above the disk, rare halo stars shine with quiet brilliance. These stars formed early in the galaxy's history and now travel through calm orbits that rarely interact with denser regions. Their paths stretch through peaceful outer zones where space is nearly empty. Imagining these stars drifting across the halo can bring a feeling of freedom. Their motion is unhindered, and their light is steady. Astronomers see them as clues to the galaxy's earliest times, but mentally, they offer a sense of quiet isolation. These stars move with patient dignity, untouched by the busy activity below. Thinking of them helps your mind settle into stillness, like watching a single lantern float across a wide, dark lake. In the galaxy's outermost regions, there are faint clouds of ionized hydrogen that glow softly when touched by distant ultraviolet light. These clouds are extremely sparse, with particles spread far apart, creating a sense of quiet emptiness. Yet their faint glow reveals the subtle presence of gas drifting slowly through the darkness. Imagining these clouds can feel like picturing gentle fog illuminated by a faraway lantern. Their motion is almost imperceptible, shaped by weak gravitational pulls and soft radiation pressure. Scientists use them to trace the structure of the galaxy's outskirts, but their beauty lies in their stillness. They represent the quiet boundary where the Milky Way blends into the larger universe. Thinking of these soft, glowing wisps can calm your mind, reminding you that not all edges are sharp. Some fade gradually into open space, offering a peaceful transition rather than a sudden ending. The Milky Way contains faint echoes of ancient collisions that left behind star streams curling through the halo. These streams resemble soft ribbons drifting through darkness, created as small galaxies were gently pulled apart over billions of years. Though their origins sound dramatic, the streams themselves now move with calm consistency. Each star within them travels steadily along its inherited path, like a memory carried forward. Imagining these quiet trails can bring a sense of continuity. They show that the past leaves gentle marks rather than harsh scars. Astronomers study these ribbons to understand the galaxy's history, but the soothing image is the slow dance they perform across empty space. They remind us that even after large changes, harmony returns. Their graceful motion adds quiet elegance to the Milky Way, weaving old stories into the present with softness. Some regions of the Milky Way contain slow-moving photodissociation zones, where ultraviolet light gently breaks apart molecules in gas clouds. Though this process sounds technical, it unfolds gradually and quietly, creating soft transitions between dark molecular regions and glowing ionized areas. Imagining these delicate boundaries can feel restful. They resemble subtle gradients in a watercolor painting, where one shade blends into another with no sharp divide. Astronomers use these zones to study the chemistry of star formation, but the calming image lies in their slow, smooth behavior. They shift over long timescales, evolving as nearby stars brighten or fade. These quiet zones remind us that change often begins at the edges, where boundaries are soft and patient. Thinking of these gentle transitions can help your mind relax, offering a sense of natural, unhurried transformation. Deep within the Milky Way are peaceful star clouds filled with countless faint stars that blend into a soft haze. These clouds don't shine with dramatic brightness. Instead, they create a gentle, diffused glow produced by large numbers of small, steady stars. Imagining these regions feels like looking into a softly lit room where individual lights merge to create warm ambiance. The stars here move slowly in stable orbits, undisturbed by strong gravitational forces. Astronomers study them to understand how starlight behaves in crowded regions, but emotionally, these clouds offer an image of calm unity. Each star contributes a small amount of light, and together, They create a soothing brightness. These regions remind us that collective softness can create something beautiful without any single element needing to stand out. They inspire a sense of community and calm. Some quiet corners of the galaxy contain faint ionized filaments, gently floating near old supernova remnants. These filaments glow softly, tracing delicate pathways through space like threads of light drawn by an unseen hand. Their shapes twist slowly, influenced by magnetic fields and the soft pressure of surrounding gas. Imagining these structures is calming. They look like illuminated strands drifting in still water, barely moving yet full of quiet beauty. Astronomers examine them to understand the long-term effects of stellar explosions, but their slow, graceful forms give them an artistic feeling. These filaments show that even the remnants of powerful events can settle into peaceful, elegant shapes. Thinking of them can help quiet your thoughts, offering a reminder that what begins in intensity can end in tranquility. The Milky Way is wrapped in a calm, faint glow called the integrated starlight of the halo. This light comes from billions of distant stars whose individual brightness blends into a smooth, gentle radiance. Astronomers detect it using sensitive instruments, but imagining it feels like picturing a soft, invisible blanket of light surrounding the galaxy. It is not bright enough to be seen by the human eye, yet it fills the space around us with subtle illumination. This glow gives the Milky Way an aura of quiet age and stability. Thinking of it can bring a sense of comfort, like knowing there is always a soft light present even in darkness. It reflects the combined history of the galaxy's stars, offering a reminder that small contributions collected over time create lasting warmth and beauty. Stars in the Milky Way sometimes drift through regions with gentle gravitational tides, where the pull from nearby structures creates slow, rhythmic motions. These tides are not violent, but soft, stretching and compressing star paths with subtle force. Imagining these tidal motions can be soothing. They resemble slow waves passing through a calm sea, shaping the environment without disturbance. Astronomers study these tides to understand how the galaxy's mass is distributed, but the calming image lies in their consistency. They move at a pace far slower than anything on Earth, revealing the universe's preference for patience. These gentle gravitational tides remind us that influence does not always need to be strong or sudden. Sometimes, the quietest forces guide the most enduring paths. The galaxy contains extremely old white dwarfs that have cooled for billions of years and now shine with faint, ghost-like light. These ancient stars are among the quietest objects in the Milky Way. Their glow is soft and pale, barely detectable with even the most sensitive telescopes. Imagining them feels like picturing tiny, cooling embers resting peacefully after long, fiery lives. They drift through space in undisturbed orbits, unchanged for ages. Astronomers study them to learn about the earliest generations of stars, but emotionally, their presence offers calm. They show that even after intense beginnings, stillness is possible. Their faint light carries a sense of wisdom and serenity. Thinking of these ancient embers can help your mind slow down, embracing the quiet maturity that comes with long passage through time. The Milky Way contains dust-poor regions known as windows, where starlight passes through more clearly. These windows offer astronomers clear views of distant stars and galaxies, but they also create a peaceful mental image. Imagine looking through a soft clearing in a dense forest where the light shines through gently and unobstructed. These regions feel like cosmic open spaces where clarity emerges naturally. The surrounding dust clouds frame these openings in subtle shapes, but the windows themselves remain still and transparent. Thinking about them can bring mental clarity, offering a reminder that moments of openness can appear even in complex environments. These windows allow light to travel freely, showing that simplicity often appears in the midst of complexity. In the outer halo, quiet tidal relics drift slowly through space. These relics include faint star clusters, gas streams, and small collections of stars that were gently pulled away from their original homes long ago. Their motion is calm and steady, guided by the Milky Way's broad gravitational field. Imagining these relics can bring a sense of timelessness. They feel like ancient artifacts floating through a silent sea. Astronomers study them to piece together the galaxy's early history, but their peaceful drifting makes them soothing to picture. They remind us that even when pieces of the past are carried forward, they can move gently and with dignity. These relics add quiet depth to the galaxy's outer regions, carrying stories that have softened over billions of years. Some areas of the Milky Way contain soft gradients of metallicity, where stars with different chemical compositions blend together. These transitions are smooth, occurring gradually over wide distances. Astronomers use them to understand how the galaxy enriched itself over time. But the image they create is calming. Imagine colors blending seamlessly from one shade to another with no harsh lines. These metallicity gradients reveal how the galaxy evolved in gentle phases, spreading new elements slowly through its spiral arms. Thinking of these gradual transitions can soothe the mind, offering a reminder that growth and change often unfold in subtle layers. Nothing shifts abruptly. Everything blends with grace, like soft tones merging in a painting. The Milky Way evolves in smooth gradients, showing that nature often prefers gentleness and transformation. The Milky Way contains faint luminescent gas, sometimes energized by the soft glow of nearby stars. This gas emits delicate colors across large regions, creating subtle patterns that are barely visible without sensitive instruments. Imagining these glowing fields can feel like picturing soft light diffusing through a quiet fog. The colors shift slowly over time as stars change brightness or move away. Astronomers study this glow to understand the interplay between starlight and gas, but the calming part is the image of quiet illumination. These gentle colors add beauty to the galaxy without overpowering its other features. They remind us that brilliance can be subtle and still meaningful. Thinking of these softly glowing areas can bring peace, helping your mind rest in images of gentle light. Some regions of the Milky Way contain ancient, low metallicity stars that shine with crisp, pale light. These stars formed early in the universe, before heavier elements became common. Their light is simple and pure, reflecting a time when the galaxy was young and quiet. Imagining these stars can create a sense of serenity. They glow steadily, untouched by the chemical complexity found in younger stars. They move in tranquil orbits shaped long ago, following paths that have remained stable for billions of years. Astronomers study them to understand the early universe, but mentally they represent simplicity. Their unchanging nature brings comfort, like hearing an old, familiar melody played softly. These stars show that calmness can endure across immense stretches of time. The Milky Way contains long-standing voids carved by the expansion of old gas bubbles and gentle stellar winds. These voids are open, almost spherical regions where gas density is low. They feel like airy chambers within the galaxy, offering space for light to pass freely. Imagining these quiet cavities can help you relax. They represent breathing room within a busy system. Astronomers study these voids to track the movements of interstellar gas, but emotionally, they offer an image of spaciousness and calm. These open areas remind us that emptiness can have purpose, acting as places where movement and light can flow without obstruction. They teach that not every space needs to be filled. Sometimes the most peaceful places are the ones left open. Some stars in the Milky Way drift in smooth, elongated orbits shaped by the galaxy's gravitational field. These orbits allow them to travel across wide regions, moving in steady, predictable patterns. Imagining these long orbits feels like watching a slow, elegant dance. The stars glide gracefully, following paths set millions of years ago. Astronomers track these motions to understand the galaxy's structure, but their calm geometry offers emotional comfort. These stars show that stability can exist even when movement spans vast distances. They remind us that long journeys can still be gentle, unfolding with patience and balance. Thinking of these smooth orbits can help quiet your thoughts, allowing your mind to follow their peaceful curves through space. Rare, faint cometary globules drift through the Milky Way like soft droplets of dark gas trailing delicate tails. These globules move slowly, shaped by ultraviolet radiation and gentle winds from nearby stars. Their dark cores hold cold material, while their thin tails stretch behind them in quiet arcs. Imagining these globules feels like picturing drifting seeds carried by a soft breeze. They are fragile, subtle structures that evolve slowly over time. Astronomers observe them to understand early stages of star formation, but emotionally, they evoke calm curiosity. Their silent motion and delicate shapes add quiet beauty to the galaxy, reminding us that even the smallest structures can leave graceful marks across immense distances. The galaxy contains subtle ripples in its stellar disk created by past interactions with nearby galaxies. These ripples are gentle vertical waves that move through the disk, shifting stars slightly up and down in slow, smooth patterns. Imagining these waves feels like watching gentle swells on a still ocean. They travel with unhurried grace, guided by ancient gravitational nudges. Astronomers study these ripples to understand the Milky Way's past, but their soothing image offers comfort. These waves show that even disturbances can manifest as soft, natural patterns over time. They remind us that the universe smooths and softens its history, turning past interactions into gentle, flowing motions. Finally, the center of the Milky Way emits a soft, steady glow from millions of warm stars packed together. Though the region is dense and active, the combined light forms a smooth, golden radiance. Imagining this warm glow can be deeply calming. It feels like a glowing hearth at the heart of the galaxy, shining softly across billions of stars. Astronomers study the region for clues about the galaxy's structure, but for relaxation, picture it as a serene, ever-present light. It anchors the Milky Way, giving it a calm center that has endured for billions of years. This gentle luminosity reminds us that even the core of a massive system can radiate peace, warmth, and quiet strength. As you settle deeper into rest, let the quiet rhythm of the Milky Way stay with you. Every star, every cloud of dust, every gentle wave of light reminds us how softly the universe moves. Nothing in the galaxy rushes. Nothing forces its place. Everything follows its own slow, patient path. If your eyes feel heavy now, let them close. Imagine yourself drifting along one of the spiral arms, carried by calm starlight and the soft glow of ancient suns. The galaxy has been here for billions of years, and it will continue its peaceful journey long after tonight. Let that thought hold you. Let the quiet of space wrap around you like a warm blanket. breathe slowly. Rest fully. The Milky Way is still moving, still glowing, still whispering its gentle secrets. And now, it's your time to drift into sleep. Good night and sweet dream.